Hello, everyone. Welcome. My name is Letitia Yazi Bakok Thunder. I'm the Program Director of Native Women Launch. I'm Danen Amskapi Pikani, and I'm very excited to be sharing the stage with these amazing women today.
Nahananise Bondebethe. Hello, everyone. My name is Butterfly Woman. That's my given name, but my English name is Tisha Cliff. I am the Workforce Development Program Specialist with Accelerate Montana, and yeah, I'm really excited to bring this panel to you guys and share this space with you.
Hello. So my name is Brocade Stops Black Eagle. I am Crow, Mandan, and Hidatsa. I was born and raised on a Crow reservation where I currently reside with my husband and my 3 sons. I am the owner and designer of Brocade. And I'm just very thankful for being here today, and I hope you guys enjoy this.
Hello, my name is Shalisa Sear. I am from Fort Peck. I am the owner of Chief and Wear. I am a full-time contract graphic designer. I create logos and graphic design for like companies and yeah.
So a side note is Shalisa actually designed all of our logos, and we have some stickers designed by her as well upstairs, so definitely stop by our booth. Just to start, we wanted to touch on supporting Indigenous art is more than a transaction. It's an act of reciprocity. It's respect for the knowledge, history, and the identity embedded in every creation, and these women embody that completely. Indigenous artists are knowledge keepers, storytellers, and culture bearers, weaving generations of teachings into every bead, carving, and thread. When we invest in Indigenous art, we recognize its value beyond aesthetics. It contributes to economic empowerment, sustains cultural practices, and creates opportunities for artists to continue their work, such as these amazing trailblazers today. Choosing to purchase Indigenous art is a meaningful way to appreciate and support Indigenous creativity, which has always been at the forefront and a driving force in shaping our communities, our economies, and our futures. So Native Women Launch is committed to building spaces where Indigenous creativity and Indigenous women entrepreneurs can thrive. And we're very, very honored and excited to share this stage and to give the opportunity for you to learn a little bit more about these 2 amazingly talented individuals.
So we're gonna start it off. The first question I have for these 2 ladies is, what drives you to create, and how do you see your work shaping the broader Indigenous art economy?
All right, so I love creating. What I've done with my business is I've been beading since I was 10. I grew up, my grandmother beaded, my mother beaded. We're surrounded by the parades, the powwows. Beadwork is just all over where I'm from. And with that being said, we didn't have any beadwork. We didn't have anything to parade in, to go to the powwows and dance with. So my mother was really a go-getter, and we started making our own items, our own beadwork, and now we own a lot of beadwork because I've been beading for 30 years now. So I love beading, and I love creating. I love picking out colors and making a design and creating something that has an end product that I can be proud of. So creation to me is just, I love it, and it's amazing that I've been able to make a business out of it. So everything that you see is, like what I'm wearing is something that I beaded. It was on a purse. I named it Cuts the Pinto. That was my great-grandmother's Crow name. And so with everything that I put out there, it means it's very personal to me, and I make it tied back to my family, to the people that did the groundwork so that I could be here today. And then with what was the second part of it? I'm sorry, the economy?
How do you see your work shaping the broader Indigenous art economy?
Okay. So I see my artwork broadening the economy through I guess just getting our work out there, educating people about our culture, our beadwork. Mine is basically crow, since I grew up on a crow reservation. The color palettes that you see, the designs are geometric crow designs and also floral. And I just feel like, especially we get to come to spaces like this and speak to people, just to educate people about our culture, about our artwork, and how we love sharing it with people. And one of the things that a lot of people that I've come across is they said they're scared to use our designs. And I'm just here today to let you know that it's fine, it's good, we love it, because you're promoting us. We're sharing our culture with you, and we just love it. And if anyone says anything, Sabre OK gave you the permission to use it. So.
What drives me to create is my culture, my teachings, the way that I grew up. I am Dakota and Nakota. I am part Cree and Soto. So I am constantly but inspired by those teachings. So knowledge that was passed down to me as a young girl, whether it was beading or the meanings behind these like symbols and designs that are used in my work. But I take that and I use that in my business. So I had the chance to design for Pendleton in 2021, and I created a blanket with them, and then most recently, they reached back out to me and we created a puzzle. And so just like creating, sorry, I'm kind of nervous. Anyways, besides Pendleton, I had the chance to design a collection for Nike last fall, and that's the shoes that I'm wearing now. And it was based off of, the theme was basketball, so I took the agios and the designs from my tribe and placed it onto the shirt and the sweater and all that. So yeah, it was cool to be able to see how would I say it, culture modernized onto clothing. Yeah.
Amazing. You know, many Indigenous women entrepreneurs are redefining success on their own terms. For you ladies, what does success look like to you?
For me, success in my business is being able to share my culture with everyone, educating people, and getting my product out there. And so conferences, powwows are the places that I go and I set up vendoring and pop-up. And just seeing people using my wear is success enough for me. And this is also a business, so I have to think of the business aspect of it also, and it's making money is part of the success. And I have, throughout this business, I started out, I'm actually an RN. I graduated from here in 2006 with my Bachelor's of Science in Nursing. I worked 13 years as an RN at the IHS in Crow. So I jumped into business not really knowing what I was doing. So every year I've learned a lot, I've expanded, and my goal for every year was to make more money, which I have. So for me, I feel like that part is successful and just getting my brand out there and being here today. So.
Success to me is like being able to take my teachings that I've learned and bring it back to my people. So I teach art part-time, and it's cool to be able to be a younger artist and kind of like talk to the kids, because they get to see somebody who is younger who has like made it big. And I am very grateful for the places that art has taken me. It's very, how would you say it, surreal to see your designs and your work in a corporate store. So like Nike factory store Pendleton. Yeah. Another thing I would say is I create logos. So being like able to see my work represented for companies, like the face of a company is like really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, great. And I just want to say, just about everywhere I go, I see one of these ladies' designs, clothing, and it's really cool to see and be out like randomly seeing her shoes, her top, her cardigans. It's really nice, and I get empowered as an Indigenous woman to see other Indigenous women rising, and I find a lot of joy in that. The next question is, art is often deeply personal and rooted in culture. How do you ladies navigate between staying true to your artistic vision and adapting to the realities of entrepreneurship?
Can you say that over?
Yeah. It's a long question. Art is often deeply personal and rooted in culture. How do you navigate the balance between staying true to your artistic vision and adapting to the realities of entrepreneurship?
So through my business, I feel like I am true to my art. It is my art that I have printed on clothing, that I do my beadwork. So I'm always true to my art, and that's what you see on the clothing, that's what you see on the shirt, that's what you see in the beadwork. I've always stayed true to my art, and I haven't had a problem with it. People are very receptive to it. They like my beadwork. That's how I've been able to base my business off of is my artwork. What was the second part? Sorry. Economy.
And adapting to the realities of entrepreneurship.
Oh, okay. And I feel like I haven't really had to adapt. Ways that I had to have to adapt is, I guess when I set up, I get to talk to customers. I get to see what they like, colors they like, the feel of the fabric. And with that being said, they're like, you should have this color. I like your broad range of color. This would look nice with this. I do listen to customers. That's why I like to set up too, because I get to gauge to see what the customers want and what I can do to better my product and learn from it. So I just feel like this is my art. I haven't had to really adapt in changing my art. I can freely design and sell my product. Thank you.
I'd say for me, kind of the same thing. I use my culture in the physical products of my work. For the second part, to adapt, I'd say working with corporate companies, they often have like a budget or like a specific set material that it's on. So I had to really be flexible when it came down to that, because sometimes if your design is like too much and it goes past the budget for that specific item, then you have to kind of like make changes to kind of like fit the budget, of course.
Indigenous entrepreneurs often operate in unique business landscapes. You're balancing community, tradition, and commerce. How do you approach growth in your work? Is that something that's important to you guys, or?
Through our tradition, or?
Yeah, your business and
through
your culture.
Okay, through our culture. So one of the things that I had to really work on in the growth of, in my culture, we're not supposed to boast about yourself. You're not supposed to talk about yourself. We have a clan system that does that for us. And so for me, it was really hard for me to talk about my business, the things that I do, because I felt like I was talking about myself. I was boasting about myself. So that was one thing I really had to navigate well, just because I didn't want to get anyone mad with my tribe, and I had to be able to promote myself also. So that was one of the things with cultural that I had a hard time navigating. I feel like I'm working on it. I feel like I'm still trying to navigate those waters more clearly, but that was one thing with cultural and my business growth is being able to talk about myself and saying these are the things that I did, and also public speaking. In our culture, you have to have the right to speak in public, to engage in a large public event, to speak in it. So for me, that was really hard too, because mostly we have someone who will speak for us and praise our songs at a public event. So public speaking was also really something that I had to work on, and I was able to navigate out of it, but I've been pulled back in, and I've been working on that also. So those were just some of the things with my culture and running a business that I have had to work on.
What was your question again?
How do you approach growth while maintaining your culture and your work?
What do you mean by like approach growth? Like what would be like a second way to come at that question?
Is growth important to your work? Cultural growth.
We'll just go to
Yeah.
the next question.
I think one thing that's really interesting is we're all completely different tribes, and so we have different customs, traditions, and the ways to balance that and also approach respect for those differences is something that I find really interesting because they're making such an impact in the Indigenous art world. And to do that while staying true to who you are is amazing. And yeah, we'll go ahead and go to the next question.
So, in your business as an entrepreneur, access to capital, markets, and business education can be barriers for Native artists and entrepreneurs. What is a resource or knowledge that made a difference for you? And what do you wish you had more access to when you were starting out?
For me, I kind of just jumped into my business. I went from RN working 13 years on that. I did bead and sell my beadwork like a side hustle, extra money coming in. So I did have that. I guess some of the resources would have been, because I knew there was resources. You know, we have you guys, we have TRIA. I just didn't really reach out and really ask for help. With my business, we kind of navigated and kind of figured things out. My husband is really a great support for me, and he's kind of one of those ones that really promoted me. He saw something, and he was like, okay, I'll get your website going. I'll do this, and you just create. So it's been really nice in that aspect. But I do know there's a lot of resources, and I feel like I should have reached out more to them and kind of talk to other people with business, because I saw them, and I think I got shut down by one person that I really admired as an Indigenous designer, so I was scared to ask after that. And so that really scared me. So I kind of backed away from asking anyone for anything. It was just one really bad experience. Since then, I haven't had a bad experience. Everyone's been really kind and nice, but it was just that one person. So I feel like I should have reached out more and utilized more resources. There is a lot of Native American resources out there, but I've been able to, there's a lot of resources on the internet, how to figure things out. That's it.
I'd say for me, since I'm not really the type of person to like sell like physical art, like clothing and all that, I sell like small stuff like beadwork and such. But I would say I would have liked help with like in the grants area or scholarships possibly to potentially start up a business. And that's something that I'm trying to find out right now is more help with money to start up. I'm not sure where to look, so, like, if anybody knows. Yeah. So one of my dreams is to be able to start up a clothing brand. But like I said, I don't know where to look for like manufacturers and materials and yeah. So I'm kind of like in the dark about that. Another good thing that I would say, how would I start this? So there's these like third-party sites. You guys know about like Teespring, Spoonflower, Redbubble, where it's like all like print on demand sites where the company takes care of the shipping and printing for you. I went that route about a year ago, and I find it cool, but like for the long run, for like establishing a solid brand, I would want something more stable. But that's a good way to make like a side, a way to make like cash on the side, yeah.
Amazing. So I think it's very apparent that we feel very strongly that representation matters. It matters in art, but as well as business. Seeing Native women succeed in business and art is powerful. Tisha and I both feel very inspired by these two women. Just wanted to ask you guys, who has inspired or mentored you along the way?
I have a lot of people that inspired me, but the one that comes to my mind is my mother. She was the one that actually sat down and showed me how to be, took that time, provided supplies, because as I'm making my own artwork, beadwork, it costs a lot of money to do one project. And there's a lot of supplies that go into one project. So my mother was basically the one that sat down, showed me how to, the designs, the colors, how to put things together. She didn't know, she'd go find out. She would teach me. So she was my number one supporter, my number one mentor. Even setting up to sell, we would go to, we have a reservation nearby that we would go sell. First of the month, we could take our items, our clothing, and go sell. And I just saw how she interacted with people. She talked to them. She told them what they had. And I didn't know at the time, but she was showing me how to be a salesperson. And I didn't know that. And then when I sat there and thought about it, I was like, wow, I didn't know I was learning how to be a salesperson. So my mother is definitely my number one supporter and mentor. Oh gosh, there's been so many people I look up to, like B. Yellowtail, who really, she had a collective where we were able to apply and get in, and we were able to send our beadwork to her, and she would sell them on her website, and she would sell out of my beadwork. So that was really a push. I was like, hey, maybe I can have a business. Maybe I can get my business going. She sold in her range, her huge broad range of people that would buy from her. So she was definitely someone that I looked up to. And then just all our local artists, all the other designers that came before me, like Della, Big Hair Stump, Carrie McClary, just people that I saw locally that had a business, who were successful, and that were doing things in the community is people that I really looked up to.
Who has inspired or mentored you along the way?
I'd have to say the same answer, my mom. And also, sorry about the stuttering, but I grew up with a stutter, and I am not a public speaker, so this is like my first time on stage. Anyways, I would say I look up to a lot of different people, different artists. When I first stepped into this whole business world, it was kind of something that I didn't chase. It was something that came to me. And so I'm still learning to navigate that while also finding different people to like look up to as mentors.
So I guess a good question, something that I also wonder is, what have been the biggest shifts, whether it be mindset, strategy, or resources? Like, I guess a good question would be prioritizing social media. Like, how do you learn that and how do you go about that way?
Oh, I'm not too good about social media. I can definitely ramp that up more. It just takes so much time. Like I was talking to someone with TikTok and they're like, yeah, do a TikTok. So all day I was filming and then the end of the day I was trying to edit it and I was like, this is taking too much time. You know, I got 3 kids at home. I got beading projects I got to get done. And I tried. I tried. And then about a week I was done. But I think with social media, that's something I really need to work on. And I think it would really boost my, like with TikTok, I've heard businesses who make so much money off of TikTok. And I was just like, where do they have the time? I have no time. I have 3 boys at home, you know, a dog and a cat. I'm busy. So I feel like with my social media, I really do need to ramp it up. That's something that I need to work on. As far as, what was your other question? I'm sorry, that was leading into it.
The biggest shifts, whether it be mindset, strategy, or resources.
Okay, so biggest shift for me, wow, would definitely be the website. So I got my website going thinking, okay, I have my website, I'll be good. If they want to buy something, they can go to my website, purchase something. But I found the people that buy my product like to feel the fabric. They like to see if it fits before they order it. They like to look at the beadwork and see, they like to try it on. So I think with my business, I'm always changing, I'm always evolving. I'm trying to see what works, what doesn't work. Just like nursing, you set a goal, you have interventions, you see if it works. If it doesn't work, you change it and start all over and see what works. So that's basically how I am in my business. And it's always changing, and my mindset is always changing. I'm always seeing what works, and it always changes because time changes, everything changes, so.
For me, social media isn't really a big thing. I would say it's kind of hard to create like ads and stuff. Since I'm not really like a business, I'm more so just a freelance graphic artist. So my social media is more so like a public portfolio where people can look at my work and potentially work with me to create a logo for them or a t-shirt design and so on. What was the second part of the question?
What are resources that helped you grow your business? Mindset, strategy, or resources, I should say.
I'd say just, I don't know.
I would add, Shalisa is very personable and she's really easy to talk to and work with, and she's just hilarious, so that's something that helps.
Yeah.
And lastly, you know, for those in the audience and those who are going to watch this after, who are dreaming of building something their own or creating a living off of their art, what is one piece of advice you would offer an artist or an entrepreneur at the beginning of their journey?
I have a lot that I would share with them. But I think one thing that I would share with them is don't give up. You're going to have days where you feel like you just failed. You're like, my business is done. I messed up. And then you give yourself that time to go through those feelings. Next day is a new day. You're going to have ups and downs. Like today, I get to sit here and talk about my business. You know, some days I'm like, my business isn't doing good. But I think I would just tell them to follow their dreams, continue on with what they're doing, and just keep thriving, keep going, never give up.
I would say create your own style, something that stands out, which is what I try my best to do. The job of the artist is to fill the space, and I think in a way there's like many different approaches to that. But I have to remember that building something good takes time, and that is something that I am learning to work towards, such as public speaking, such as getting better at my graphic work. So I'd say just being able to stay true to your vision and your goals, but also learning to be flexible, because most times there is times where you have to like follow changes. So like just like be flexible.
So this question isn't on here, but it's a personal question. Not really personal. What are some ways that you have dealt with burnout? Like what helps you get through those low days, and what keeps you wanting to keep on?
Wow. Prayer. I pray a lot. I run. If I feel like I'm hitting a wall with a design or something that I'm trying to create, I'll step back, go run. I love to trail run, so I'll go run. I'll just take a break, maybe work on something else that I've been needing to work on, and then when I'm ready, I'll come back to it and continue on when I'm ready. Because when I've tried to I've tried to do things, and it just doesn't work. I get nowhere. I put in my design, the colors, I have to rip it out. I don't like it. So those are, and then just spending time with my family, regrouping, stress relievers, maybe go get a massage, go to a movie, spend some time with family, friends. You will experience those burnouts, but you just got to push through them and step back, and then jump back in.
For me, it's meditation, writing. I write a lot. I'm not really a spoken word person. I am more of a very quiet person. So, but I often read. I write. I take a step back from my contract work, or like stuff that is like beating orders, painting orders, all that. And I just sketch without restrictions. I work with a lot of different mediums, sculpting, painting, leatherwork, parfleche, beading, and so on. So I just, I really love to create without restrictions, is how I would put it. And how I also deal with burnout would be, this is gonna sound funny, but I'm very cultural. So I get fully dressed in my dance outfit and I just dance. Yeah.
We are hosting an art walk, so if you haven't had a chance to stop by and support these amazing women, as well as our visiting artist, Desi, please do so. Our first art walk really is a reflection of our mission, which is bringing people together. Art is supported by community and the energy that we create when we gather, and these women and who we are at Native Women Launch really embodies that. It's about fostering an economy that values Indigenous brilliance, Indigenous creativity, and ensuring that these artists have platforms that recognize their work not only as beautiful, but meaningful as well. Is there any questions from the audience before we close up?
So actually, this design that's on is a purse that I have up there. I should have brought it down. But I beaded it on a purse, and then I took a picture, and then I did the graph. My husband did the graph art, and then we had it printed, and it was made at a manufacturer. So, yeah, I don't know how long it took me. I'm so sorry. That's the number one question I get with my beadwork. How long did it take you? And I never record it, but I did with a cradle board. That cradle board that's up there at my stand. Cradle board that we use to carry our babies in. And so I did record from the time that I started to the time that ended, and it was 1 month, but that's 24. So if you think about if you beat 12 hours a day, it would be 2 months. So that's how long it took me. That's the only thing I recorded on my beading, because it makes time. It was just a chore trying to jot down how long it took me, how long I beaded. So I don't know how long it took me to bead this, and then it depends on if I'm on a roll or if I have to stop and make something out. So, but thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
I'm curious about a time where something went sideways, like a funny story that you have where you were doing something and it didn't turn out the way you wanted it to, and then, I don't know, do you have a story like that?
Like with my artwork or?
Business in
Oh, with
general.
my
Like, I have
business.
so many stories where something went sideways and they turn out funny later, but at the time it's really, really stressful.
I don't know if I have something that was funny, but I learned from it. I learned that you
Yes.
won't work well with everyone. You got to find the people that you work well with. And I didn't. I guess.
What's that story?
Yeah. Well, we had a. Let's see, which one is it? Let's just say I worked with someone that was hard to work with. And I walked away feeling like I didn't want to do fashion shows anymore because I had such a bad experience with someone that made it so negative. It was so negative, and here I am like this new designer, like all happy and chipper, and it was just a dark cloud over me. I was just like, I don't want to do this anymore. I hate fashion shows. I don't want to start my business. This is horrible. But I went to another fashion show, and it was amazing. The people that were involved in it were awesome. They were great, very welcoming. It was just a whole new environment. So I really realized it's the people you surround yourself with that can really make you or break you. And you have to be really strong to be able to back away from and say, no, that was just one experience. Next time it'll be better. I don't think I have any funny stories. I know things that I've learned from and then I finally realized I was like, I'm not gonna work well with everyone, and it's fine. Just step away. There's other people you can work with. You know, I wish them the best, but I'll never work with them again. And that's just what I learned from in the beginning of my business. I don't want to say names or anything.
Shalisa, I have a comment for you. I have a couple people that I can connect you with for some funding. So I would love to do that.
Heck yeah.
And then I just wanted, you kind of touched on it a little bit, but I was wondering how the support is in the Indigenous community among artists.
Oh, that's a tough one. So it's kind of like a Shark Tank, honestly. If you are better than somebody, they will try to take you down. And that's just my personal experience. And so I've kind of been on this journey by myself, but I have found a small team of girls and guys who have supported me, and it's kind of cool to have that. But she knows how it really is in Native world. It's kind of hot and cold, yeah.
It can be cutthroat.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they'll ask you if you had the right to do that.
Copycats.
Yeah, there can be negativity, definitely, with anything you do. People will see fault in it. But then we also, what gets me through is I know there's a lot of people supporting us. And those are the people that I'm gonna surround myself with, and those guys can go be negative in their own corner. So I've really learned to surround myself with the good people and don't mind the negativity. And I'm not going to feed into it either. If I see people on social media who are fighting, I'm not going to get into that because, I mean, it's already hard enough. We're Indigenous, we're women, we're trying to get our business going. We should support each other. We should uplift each other. And I just stay away from all that negativity. I despise it, and I'll just back away. That's their issue. They can deal with it, and I'm just going to continue on with it, what I'm doing.
I just thought you should mention about how culture impacts our businesses, like how we were raised, if you wanted to, because that question is kind of similar to that. Like, who gave you the right?
Oh. Yeah, we get that a lot. I don't know if other tribes are like that. She's also Crow too, and we get that a lot where we create something and someone will be like, well, did you have the right to do that?
It's
You
kind of
know?
the same for like us too. Like as a Dakota Lakota person, there's different designs. So some are specified for men, some are specified for women. So you kind of have to know the backgrounds and the stories of all these designs that you are using. And we also have family designs, which are like kept in the family. And so you can't really like use those in things that are like for the people. Yeah, I could get like way into depth with this, but that's like a different talk.
Yeah, gatekeepers.
We'll do one more question and then.
Can you pinpoint how Pendleton singled you, like decided on you as a...
It was that American Indian College Fund scholarship back in 2021 when I was 21. Yeah, I'm 24, so. I won the scholarship. They contacted me, and I was able to create a blanket with them. And then they liked it so much that a few years later, last spring, they contacted me again to be able to create a puzzle. And the puzzle is, I think it's still available on the site. It's $20, and it's under Unity.
Amazing, please. Give a round of applause to these amazing, amazing women. Yeah, thank you everyone for joining us today. If you haven't, please visit nativewomenlaunch.com. We also have a podcast where we feature stories from amazing other women who are trailblazing and paving the way for future generations. Thank you everyone for being here today.